Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Neptune, Michelle here, and today I'm going to talk about, this one thing that I do think needs to be talked about. Now, in Sailor Moon, there are, we'll say they're cells who were unstraight, and there's nothing wrong with being unstraight. But there are some folks out there who wonder if it was handled right or not. Well, that's open to a belief if it was handled right or not. First off, I'm going to say that it was handled in a way that there was onlook to it, but at the same time handled in a way that no one could say was bad. Well, today a lot of folks would think that it was handled the wrong way. Now, I made this film before, so I don't know if anyone is really truly going to want to watch it or not. So it's up to you. Now, back in everyone scaves DIC from having Zoisite become a woman, but they don't. But they don't. Or most of them don't truly don't. Most of them don't really scave Pioneer and Cloverway for how they handled. Well, they do, but not as much. For how they handled, Sarah Uranus, Amara, and myself, Sailor Neptune, me, Michelle. And they don't really handle that much how they did Fisheye, even though I believe Fisheye was a woman in all the offshoots. There's some truth to back that up. Now, there have been some folks out there that think that DIC, Cloverway, Pioneer should have just let them be unstraight and then deal with the scathing and the shaming and everything else that came along with it at the time. Well, first off, keep in mind that DIC and Cloverway did not want to lose any boosterings and showings they got. They didn't want the folkworks to pull out on them, and they didn't want to make anyone out there mad and angry about with the show. So they had to do some stuff. So yes, Zoisite, who is a man in every other offshoot, and if is one too, but in DIC was a woman. How did they do that? They had to shift it to a woman show player who was speaking for her. That would be Kirsten or Christian Bishop, who is no longer alive anymore, but she would go on to play other women in Sailor Moon 2. Then us being near kin, which some folks have scathed that for, oh, everyone knew. Yes, everyone knew that we were lovers or we were unstraight. It didn't really take a lot to know that's what we were. But once again, Cloverway and Pioneer were in that same bind that DIC was in, because even though it was so many years after it, the mindset of folks who thought it was wrong, well, there's still folks out there that sadly think it's wrong. But the mindset of folks who felt that you can't do that on the Farsi or in a film or a play were still around, and they are sadly still around. But this is before the whole open-minded, trusting, understanding of it happened. So yes, me and Sarah Uranus had to become near kin, and I don't think that was a bad thing. Yes, some folks who are near kin to each other do have a near bond to each other. So I know what they were going for. But a lot of folks out there probably said, yeah, well, they're saying and doing a lot of things that would make it be what are not only kin to each other. So yes, in the Cloverway and the Pioneer offshoot, we're near kin. It is what it is. And all the other offshoots were unstraight. By the time you get to, that's when you're handling the over. By the time you get to over or Super S, you have Fisheye, which some folks believe was a was a man wearing women clothes, but I already watched the Pioneer Cloverway offshoot of the English, and I also watched the Viz one. And I have come to the belief that Fisheye is a woman in all the offshoots. Why? Because the show players who speak for Fisheye all are women. So Fisheye is a woman in all the offshoots. Unless they were going for that, whatever they were going for. So there was really nothing wrong, nothing really they could do with Fisheye, since Fisheye was already a woman to begin with, so there you go. They didn't really have to do that much. But once you got into Sailor Stars, this is where it would be hard for anyone who had gotten the rights to it at the time. This would be a hang up that Pioneer and Cloverway would not know how to work. How would they shift out Dustin and Jordan from being men, because they were men, who became women, or at least got women body breaks or halves on them when they shifted and shape shifted into women? How would they clean that out, or how would they shift that so it would be alright for anyone to watch? I don't know. And that may have been one of the grounds to why they never got a deal to work with it. Yes, it would come out years later. Viz would get the rights to do it, but by that time Viz didn't really have to worry about the folks who were going to get irked or mad or wretched at them, because they were just filming it. They were just, wording it, putting it on disc and selling it. They weren't putting on some folk work somewhere, so they didn't really have to worry about losing the folk work pulling out on them, or any boosterings or showing businesses pulling out on them too. Yeah, they did have to worry about folks not buying the disc, but that was their own thing. So yeah, Viz didn't have to really deal with the same handicap or bind or hang up that DIC and Pioneer and Cloverway had to deal with when they first handled Sailor Moon. So before I end this film, I think that DIC and Cloverway and Pioneer all did a good work with what they had to work with. And they had to work with it, and I think they handled the unstraight the right way, or at least what they felt was the right way. It's still open to a fight over, was it handled right or was it not handled right. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm Sailor Neptune Michelle. If you like this, then follow here at Sailor Moon for Life. Watch the last film we made yesterday over here. I'm Sailor Neptune Michelle. Hope you like this film. Bye.